Hey guys, so that footage in the intro was from the Tour Series YouTube channel from their highlights videos of the Tour Series Crits, which is the highest level of criterium racing over in the UK. Highly recommend you go and watch those videos, links down below in the description. But what I wanted to do in this video was pull out two of the best rides from those three races and see what we can learn about cornering from them. And I've got two really short snippets which I'm going to look into, which is the final corner of the win that Charlie Tanfield got, and then also the cornering of Matt Gibson on the crit he won solo. So I guess a bit of information about me and my experience racing crits. So I can get around criteriums at a national level. I have in the past. I've raced the highest level criteriums in Australia, gotten good results there. But cornering was never my strong point. I think that is a good thing. I came into cycling quite late. My cornering and my bunch skill was never my strong point, but I've managed to get to a stage where I can comfortably race at the highest level. Well, maybe not anymore because I haven't done it for a while, but back in the day, I got myself to a level where I could race comfortably at the highest level of criteriums in the National Road Series. I feel like actually for you watching this video, my experience getting myself to that level, coming late into the sport and not having the skill since racing the bike as a kid, actually puts me in a stronger position to give better advice than someone who grew up racing and just naturally knows how to do it. This is Charlie Tanfield sprinting into the final corner. So rips in and then bang. We'll pause it here and have a look. So let's see. We'll start from the most obvious things. Position, he's in the drops. You need to be able to race in the drops. If you can't race and corner in the drops, you need to work on it. I mentioned this in my Getting Comfortable Racing video where I mentioned the drops. Super important. I won't go into too much detail, but basically if you can't do a crit in the drops and you find you're stuck on the hoods, you need to work on it. So good position in the drops, outside, basic stuff that most of you probably know, but I'll reiterate. Anyway, outside foot down, taking the apex as well. So you can see here, I'll go back. When he overtook the rider, he overtook him on the inside of the corner on the right-hand side and then swung out so he could take as much of the apex of the corner as possible and then swept back in to take the apex of the corner. Now, the outside foot isn't just down. What he would actually be doing is pressing through the outside foot. So what you would want to be thinking about here is not just having the outside foot down, but taking weight through the outside foot to the point where your bum almost comes up off the saddle. That's going to allow the bike to move underneath him and take the corner at a higher speed because he doesn't have all that weight pounding into the saddle. So weight pushed through his outside leg, almost suspended slightly off the saddle. And we can see like the angle he's on as he's almost exiting this corner is insane. Like this look, it could be the camera angle, but that looks like it's more than 45 degrees. He's bent over there. So good cornering there. Pretty basic stuff. Now, I'll look at the one from a couple of corners from Matt Gibson as well, but good thing that we can learn here is these guys aren't doing anything crazy with their cornering. There's no secret. I'd love to sit here and say, oh, look, he did that one little thing right, and that can make you an insane cornerer. These guys are doing pretty standard stuff. So you got outside foot down, they're in the drops, they've got the inside knee sticking out. So let's go to this clip here of Matt Gibson, and we can see here that left knee there sticking out, coming outside his elbow to counterbalance the weight. And then if we pause again, we've got here outside leg down, fully extended, so weight all going through that corner. Nice low position, almost exaggeratedly low. Like if you were in this position getting this low with your upper body, you would feel a bit weird. This isn't anything groundbreaking, but the thing with getting better at cornering is it just takes practice, and it takes being comfortable, being uncomfortable. So you have to slowly as you go along, be constantly just slightly pushing your comfort zone in terms of how you feel in terms of your grip and risk when cornering, and constantly push that out. And you get to the point where you can be like these guys and just be ripping through corners very fast, and it just feels normal. You're definitely not going to get better at cornering just magically by doing some secret technique if you're not constantly pushing your comfort zone. And then let's talk about how things could go wrong. So how could these riders crash? Now, there's really two ways that you could crash when you're doing this cornering. And I'm telling you this because it can actually make you a bit more confident. I think people have this fear if they go too fast into a corner, they're just going to crash. And they'll just crash and they have no control over it. That really doesn't happen. So there's two ways you could crash. The first and definitely the most common way is by clipping your pedal as you go through the corner. And that's really easily avoided just by not pedaling through the corner. So don't be tempted as you're in the corner, as you feel like you're coming out of it, to start pedaling too early. So just be aware that your highest chance of crashing in a fast corner in a crit is going to be from clipping your pedal. So just be mindful as you're taking fast corners in crits not to pedal too early. It's simple as that. If you can never clip your pedal in a crit, you'll probably reduce your chance of crashing overall by half, I would say. Other reason you will crash is by having a wheel washout. If you're just going through a corner and you slide out, which I think is people's most common fear, they fear, oh, I'll go too fast and then I'll slide out. If you do slide out, it'll most likely be your front wheel that will wash out. So how can you reduce the chance of your front wheel washing out? First way is by de-weighting the front end of your bike. So I think a lot of people, when they're cornering, they're quite tense through the front end and probably and getting low, which is good for lowering your center of gravity, but that can also mean more weight over the front end, which makes your front wheel more likely to slip out. So to reduce the chance of your front wheel slipping out, push through the outside foot as you go through a corner, and that way your weight is going to be held more through your leg and through your hips and less through your hands. So shifting your weight further back in the saddle and pushing through your outside foot means you're deloading the front of the bike, so less weight over the front wheel and more weight through the back wheel, because your back wheel, if your front wheel hasn't washed out as you go through the corner, your back wheel almost definitely won't. It's that front wheel sliding out that's the main thing. So if you're worried about that happening, shift your weight back, push through the outside leg, get that weight off the front end of the bike. So that's it for this video, guys. I'll end it there. I hope you got something out of it, and I'll catch you in the next one.